Before texting, DMs, and long talking stages, how did people actually express love? Hi, Morians. Welcome to another episode of History with the Global Mo. This is where we tell African history the way it should be told. Now, let's talk about love and courtship long before social media. Today, relationships often begin with a DM. Someone replies to a story or starts a conversation under someone else's comment section, and there is a "that's how I met your father" or mother moment. But for our ancestors, things worked very differently. There were no phones, no texting, and definitely no long talking stages that lasted for months. In many African cultures, courtship was intentional, respectful, and often structured. If a man was interested in a woman, it was rarely something that stayed in secret for long. Families were often aware, and sometimes they were even involved from the very beginning. Now, for example, among the Yoruba people, a young man might approach the woman's family through a trusted elder. This elder would vouch for him, communicate his intentions, and even help arrange early meetings. The goal was to make sure that the relationship was built on serious intentions and not just temporary interest. In some Ashanti communities, it was customary for the man to present small gifts, not too flashy but thoughtful, to show respect and commitment. The gifts were often symbolic, gifts like kola nuts or woven clothes, which signified seriousness and family respect. Respect was central, but public display of romance, it was very, very rare. Interactions between couples were guided by the cultural expectations of modesty and dignity. Meetings were always planned and supervised, especially in the early stages. The families would observe the character and the behavior of the individuals involved. But this doesn't mean that love was absent. In fact, love was often expressed in quiet and meaningful ways through acts of care, consistent show of effort, and responsibility. A man showed his seriousness not just with words but through actions. He worked hard, respected the woman's family, and demonstrated that he could build a stable income. Of course, a woman's consent and willingness was equally valued, but her family's guidance ensured that the choice was intentional and safeguarded by the community. So, courtship was not totally just about two individuals, it was also about the family's connection, the community approval, and also the long term future of the couple. Because marriage was seen as something meant to last, so definitely the process leading to it was taken seriously. So while love in those days may have looked slower and more structured than what we see today, love was often built on clear intentions, respect, and community involvement. So now let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think modern relationships could learn from this? And that'll be all on today's episode. Remember, the past is never just the past, it is our teacher. I'll see you next Tuesday on another episode of History with the Global Mo. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, Morians.